Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Matt here, and welcome to Test Drive Unlimited 2. And in this gameplay, I'm gonna explain about the history of World War II in Pacific, okay? So, in Pacific, United States of America declared war on Japan because, on this day, December 7th, 82 years ago, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, and it is a US naval base near Honolulu, Hawaii. That was the scene of a devastating surprise attack by Japanese forces. Just before 8 a.m. on that Sunday morning, hundreds of Japanese fighter planes descended on the base, where they managed to destroy or damage nearly 20 American naval vessels, including 8 battleships and over 300 airplanes. More than 2,400 Americans died in the attack, including civilians, and another 1,000 people were wounded. The day after the assault, President Franklin D. Roosevelt asked Congress to declare war on Japan. The attack on Pearl Harbor was a surprise, but Japan and the United States had been edging toward war for decades. The United States was particularly unhappy with Japan's increasingly belligerent attitude toward China. The Japanese government believed that the only way to solve its economic and demographic problems was to expand into its neighbor's territory and take over its import market. To this end, Japan declared war on China in 1937, resulting in the Nanking Massacre and other atrocities. American officials responded to this aggression with a battery of economic sanctions and trade embargoes. They reasoned that without access to money and goods, and especially essential supplies like oil, Japan would have to rein in its expansionism. Instead, the sanctions made the Japanese more determined to stand their ground. During months of negotiations between Tokyo and Washington, D.C., neither side would budge. It seemed that war was all but inevitable, and you might be asking, where is Pearl Harbor? It is located on Hawaii, near center of the Pacific Ocean, roughly 2,000 miles from the US mainland and about 4,000 miles from Japan. No one believed that the Japanese would start a war with an attack on the distant islands of Hawaii. Additionally, American intelligence officials were confident that any Japanese attack would take place in one of the relatively nearby European colonies in the South Pacific, the Dutch East Indies, Singapore, or Indochina. Because American military leaders were not expecting an attack so close to home, the naval facilities at Pearl Harbor were relatively undefended. Almost the entire Pacific Fleet was moored around Ford Island in the harbor, and hundreds of airplanes were squeezed onto adjacent airfields. To the Japanese, Pearl Harbor was an irresistibly easy target. You know USS Arizona? If you do, the Japanese plan was simple: destroy the Pacific Fleet. That way, the Americans would not be able to fight back as Japan's armed forces spread across the South Pacific. On December 7th, after months of planning and practice, the Japanese launched their attack. Japanese planes filled the sky over Pearl Harbor. Bombs and bullets rained onto the vessel moored below. At 8:10, a 1,800-pound bomb smashed through the deck of the battleship USS Arizona and landed in her forward ammunition magazine. The ship exploded and sank with more than 1,000 men trapped inside. Next, torpedoes pierced the shell of the battleship USS Oklahoma. With 400 sailors aboard, the Oklahoma lost her balance, rolled onto her side, and slid underwater. Less than 2 hours later, the surprise attack was over, and every battleship in Pearl Harbor, USS Arizona, USS Oklahoma, USS California, USS West Virginia, USS Utah, USS Maryland, USS Pennsylvania, USS Tennessee, and USS Nevada had sustained significant damage. All but USS Arizona and USS Utah were eventually salvaged and repaired. In all, the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor crippled or destroyed nearly 20 American ships and more than 300 airplanes. Dry docks and airfields were likewise destroyed. Most importantly, more than 2,000 people died. Moreover, the Pearl Harbor assault had left the base's most vital onshore facilities, oil storage depots, repair shops, shipyards, and submarine docks, intact. As a result, the US Navy was able to rebound relatively quick from the attack. A date which will live in infamy. President Franklin D. Roosevelt addressed a joint session of the US Congress on December 8, the day after the crushing attack on Pearl Harbor. He said, "Yesterday, December 7, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan." He went on to say, "No matter how long it may take us to overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people in their righteous might will win through the absolute victory. I believe in interpret the will of the Congress and of the people when I assert that we will not only defend ourselves to the uttermost, but we will make very certain that this form of treachery shall never endanger us again," he stated. So, America enters World War II. The Japanese had wanted to goad the United States into an agreement to lift the economic sanctions against them. Instead, they had pushed their adversary into a global conflict that ultimately resulted in Japan's first occupation by a foreign power. On December 8, Congress approved Roosevelt's declaration of war on Japan. So that means 3 days later, on December 11th, Japan's allies Germany and Italy declared war against the United States. For the second time, Congress reciprocate, declaring war on the European powers. More than 2 years after the start of World War II, the United States had entered the conflict.
The metal. You're listening to Road Rock FM.
We find our competitors at the starting line.
Yeah,
for what
so
promises
that's
to be an
why
intense race.
the war between Japan and the United States are, really deadly for that one. So, what do you guys think? I said, World War in Europe and World War in Pacific, both of them are the deadliest, so they have been killed like 100,000, yeah? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, okay? Thank you guys for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and my second channel. The second channel link is in the description. Alright guys, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye guys and take care.